adds a lot of value. As a university in the US, we want to see how the student is going to become an asset to us.
Hmm. Got it.
So, yeah.
Got it. No, that was very, very helpful. In fact, the next question that I have, and because I have seen this happen a lot of times, a lot of students that we work with have diverse interests. So if someone is applying for, say, applied mathematics, computer science, those kind of STEM subjects, they do have their extracurriculars and co-curriculars around art or dance or something that's not related to the major that they are applying to. So, would you advise that these extracurriculars or co-curriculars are highlighted in the application, or would you recommend that we only focus on activities that are related to the major that they are applying for?
No, as you mentioned that it's a very holistic approach that we all have towards a student's application. Even if there is a hobby that is more, reading, like I love reading, right?
Hmm.
So if there's any hobby that doesn't necessarily lead to an award, the
Hmm.
student should still be putting that because we want to see that, the student is not necessarily looking for achievement in every sphere and they're pursuing something that they find very close to their heart or something that makes them feel happy or is very therapeutic to them.
Hmm. Got it.
Yeah, it
Uh,
definitely adds to the persona of the student for sure.
right. I would agree with Arushi. We like well-rounded students, and in fact, the extracurricular activities that they have been engaged uh, in high school would help them a lot once they're going to be coming on campus as well, right? Because we have a lot of immersion trips, etc. So, you know, I've seen students recently become the group leader for some of these immersion trips. So that really helps.
Yeah. What I would also like to add in here is I agree with Denver and Arushi completely. If you have done something that's not related to your major, it also helps you in writing very good essays. I have had a student who, in fact, went to LMU, who loved sushi and who loved making sushi. And that was something that he just did in his free time, and it was very therapeutic. And, that was something that was highlighted in his main Common App essay. And also, a lot of his teachers spoke about this. So, it is, I feel, very, very important to highlight these activities because they also show you as someone or as a student who is not a student who's not one dimensional. I mean, you have different dimensions to your personality, and that's what US universities are looking for. So, very, very important to highlight activities which may not necessarily be very, very impactful, but they mean something to you, and that's why you pursue them. So, 100% agree with what Denver and Arushi said. So, what is an ideal number of
Richa,
activities? Yes.
can I ask one question on that?
Yes.
Like, what
Yes.
if a student has recently started an activity? Does the length of the activity also matter? Like, we get a lot of students who in class 12 will start doing 5-3. So does that look suspect to you as admissions officers, or what are your opinions on that?
A lot of times, yes, it does
Yeah.
because it just shows that the student who just started an activity because they want to get to the US now and they want to be considered to any university in the US. So it definitely sounds a bit, suspicious to us.
So basically, even we looked at depth versus the breadth of the extracurricular activity. We don't want students just ticking all the boxes that they think when it comes to extracurricular activity. Even if it is one extracurricular activity that they have, we look at if they are consistent and diligent, right? So that makes a big difference. I mean, you could probably give an explanation for that. Uh, Maybe the school counselor could give an explanation saying that, the student wants to try a variety of things, and maybe that's the student's personality. So, that's a way around that.
I
So yeah,
think
I
what,
think sorry,
yes.
please go
No,
ahead.
no,
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead. No, no, please
No,
go
no.
ahead.
I was just saying that consistency definitely is key. Let's say if you have four or five different activities and you have been consistent in one or two of them for the last 3, 4 years, that would still count. And maybe we could still look at the other 1, 2, or 3 universities thinking that, okay, the student just wanted to try something new. But having at least one or two activities, one or two interests very consistently for the last 3, 4 years, at least from grade 9 onwards, is something that counts for all universities.
Yes, I was just going to say what Arushi said, that the 10 activities that you list on the Common App, you have the choice to mention, you have the option to mention whether you have done it from grade 9, 10, 11, 12. So even if you have, say, 2, 3 activities that you have been doing for the last 4 years, 3 years, it does add a lot of value, because admission officers, colleges do understand that high school students are not robots. You can't do all 10 activities for 4 years. You will have diverse interests, and it's appreciated that you have diverse interests. So a good mix would be, I would say, that 3, 4 activities are consistent, and 4, 5 activities are maybe short-term activities that you did in grade 11, 12. It raises an eyebrow if all 10 activities are started in grade 11 and 12. So I think that's a big red flag. So yes, some consistent activities and some short-term activities, which brings me to the next question. You have the option to list down 10 activities on the Common App, right? As admission officers, what would you advise? Do we list all the 10 activities, or, if a student has done meaningful work in just 6 to 7 activities, would that be okay? Or it's, taken positively if a student has done 10 different activities, or maybe just 5, 6 meaningful activities,
So
or either one is fine?
I would say highlight the important activities, which would probably highlight uh, your school engagements, your if anything related to your major as well. Because when an admission officer would be, so obviously when I would give a summary, I would give a summary highlighting the important activity that student has done. Maybe which would reflect on the student's personality, reflect on the student's demonstrated interest in either the university or the major that they are looking to do.
Got it. What about you, Arushi?
No, I completely agree with Tenwa that quality over quantity, for sure. Something that's more meaningful,
Hmm.
related to the major that they're going for, or something that they can even write about in their essay, that would matter more.
Got it. So a lot of our students have leadership roles. Some of them may be in the school council. A lot of them are head boys and head girls. So these leadership activities, should they be listed under school spirit, or maybe just mentioned in the essays? Should they be highlighted even if it's for just a year? Would you take it favorably if a student has a leadership position in school?
Yes, we would. I believe that there is an awards section
Yes,
in the
yes,
Common App.
yes.
That's where the students should be able to put all of this information.
Okay. And what about certifications? Yes, sorry, Denver, you were saying
Yeah.
something.
So, when we are trying to assess if the student has leadership quality, even if they're not mentioning, even if they don't use a section on Common App, we try to understand that with their letter of recommendations, the activities that they've had as well. So we make a separate input in our applications saying that, the student demonstrates leadership capabilities.
Okay.
It could be a head boy, a girl, etc. And we will have scholarships. A lot of universities would be having scholarships, especially for students who demonstrate leadership capabilities.
Perfect. Understood. A lot of our students also do certifications. This may be through LinkedIn or Coursera, or a lot of universities also have online courses that you can just do for free to upskill yourself, right? Where would you recommend highlighting these certifications? Is it important to highlight, or uh, you could just mention about these in the essays that, I learned this when I pursued this certification? What are your thoughts?
I
Then
would
when
I
you're
would
like,
highlight I would highlight that in the application because uh, it is important. The student has taken the time and the effort to upskill themselves. Uh, that would come under a perseverance section.
Hmm.
So yes, I would mention that in the activities over there.
Got it. Moving on to the next part, which is standardized testing, grading. We can see that a lot of universities during COVID went test optional because it was just not possible for everyone to give the SAT and score well. And then now in the next 2 years, we can see that most of the universities are going back to being test mandatory. Although a lot of universities are still sticking to test optional, but what are your thoughts? What would you say is a good SAT score? Because the trend is that if you have not scored more than 1530, 1540, or 1500, everything else is considered as horrible test score, which may not be the case for a
Right.
lot of universities, right?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on standardized testing? Do you think that it's advisable to still give the SAT and show that you are a good test taker, even if you have not scored that well, or do academics, even it out?
So what happens is, first of all, a student should check with each university what is their SAT average.
Hmm,
All right.
correct.
So if it's close to the average or above average, uh, definitely go ahead and submit it. You even have an option on Common App for a few universities that where you can tick the box that do you want us to take your SAT under consideration or not. The other important reason to take your SAT is if your academics have been inconsistent. You see a lot of students drop in DP1 or drop in grade 11 after grade 10. Those SAT scores kind of evens it out when it comes to the academics as well, especially if you have if you're looking for a major where maths is required.
Hmm.
That's one way for you to demonstrate that you have that capability or in mathematics. So that it is important there. And it also, if you have a good SAT score, it really helps you get a better scholarship too.
Got it. Got it. So, the next question that I have is, as I'm repeating myself, US admission process is quite holistic. If you compare it to, say, the UK application system, it's very clear that these are your entry requirements, and if you don't meet these entry requirements, your application doesn't go through. But for the US, except for a couple of colleges, few colleges rather, who do mention that, okay, fine, we do need XYZ grade in XYZ subjects, the system is quite holistic, right? So if your academic grades are not that great, would you still recommend applying to a dream university or a super dream university because they do take into consideration any extenuating circumstances that you have gone through or anything that has disrupted your academic and personal life? What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, I can give you an example.
Okay,
So, say for a sports management major, the GPA was around 3.6, uh,
okay,
and the student was a national level tennis player. He had
okay.
excellent academics. He volunteered at the Padukone coaching
Oh,
center,
nice.
etc. And because he was a national level player, he had missed a lot of his classes and his exams based on his extracurricular activities. I had made we had made a decision that we'll purely look at his midterm scores,
Oh,
and the
okay.
student had done really well. Otherwise, his GPA was way below 3.0, his overall aggregate GPA. So yes, it does. We do take all of this under consideration.
Okay, got it. So I would say that if your grades are not that great, but that has been balanced out through, say, an extracurricular activity like being a national level sports player or being an excellent singer and something that adds value to your profile, it might be worth taking a chance and applying to universities
It
to
does,
see.
but then again, your core subjects should be at least, at least the student should meet us halfway
Correct.
when it comes to their core subjects.
Yeah, I mean, if you're barely getting by,
Yeah,
it also doesn't make any sense to apply to a very, very rigorous college, because if you're not able to figure out 4, 5 things in your high school, when you actually go to college where you have to balance out maybe 10, 15 things, it may just be very challenging for you. So even if you get
right.
through, you may not be able to figure everything out. So
Yeah.
if you are possibly making the cut, if you're just missing it by, say, uh, by a rather less margin, but you have something to compensate for that, I would say that please go and apply for your dream university. In India, you would have read a lot of Indian applications. Predicted grades are inflated. It's an open secret, right? So, are predicted grades the only grades that you look at because they are on the basis of the midterms that have happened, or do you look at uh, all the transcripts that have been submitted? Is more weightage given to predicted grades, or all the transcripts are taken into consideration?
Uh, we take predicted grades under consideration if their previous years have been consistent. If you're
Okay.
suddenly going to see a spike in their grades, we do wait for their midterm
Okay.
exams, or we try to get in touch with the counselor
Hmm.
and get an explanation as into why this predicted grades are so high.
Okay, got it. So I would like to tell this to all the parents and students who have joined us today that, predicted grades are important, but at the same time, once you punch in the application in December and January, or even till February, your midterm reports are sent to universities. So you cannot just get complacent after your predicted grades are declared, because your midterm report is also very, very important to make a decision. Of course, this is mostly for RD applications, or ED decisions are released before your midterm grades are shared. But universities can reach out to the school or counselor if your predicted grades are inflated and they are not in alignment with the rest of your grades. So you cannot get complacent even after your predicted grades are shared and your application is punched in. So you have to be consistent in your academic endeavors. Um, One more thing that I wanted to understand is, how do universities evaluate different curriculums? Like, Indian students would obviously um, come from CBSE, ISC, and you would get, say, a small percentage of IB and A level applications. Now, the IB curriculum is, of course, more rigorous, and more exhaustive than the regular CBSE curriculum. But a lot of students do not have access to the IB curriculum. Say, if you are from a tier 2, tier 3 city, you may not have the resources to attend a IB school or an A level school. So, does that affect your chances of getting in, or it does not matter which curriculum you are, uh, you're from?
So obviously now I think I can speak for Syracuse University. So we are trying to have inclusivity to all boards. But there is a weightage when it comes to IBs and A levels. Obviously, you're going to be getting extra credit over there.
Hmm.
Uh, I would say we do understand that certain boards have a disadvantage looking at extracurricular activities, etc., and they do not have that kind of opportunity. They don't mandate it for students in certain boards. So we do take that under consideration. That's why we also have a different scale of grading, calculating the GPAs for all different boards.
Got it.
But yeah,
Okay, perfect. So would it be favorable if a student takes, say, maybe AP courses to show academic rigor, even if they've come from CBSE and ISC, so that they are at par with their peers when it comes to applications?
absolutely.
Okay. And
especially if they've not had that some of the subjects in school. Uh, that's the best part about the US education system is that, we'll accept an AP. If, say, for example, you've not had maths for the last 4 years, now you're looking to do something in business, just either do your SAT or take an AP exam, and
hmm,
we would accept that.
okay. And is it recommended that you only report APs where you have scored 4 or 5 or even 3 is acceptable?
It's acceptable.
It's acceptable.
Again, it's showing the effort that the student
Okay.
has put in.
Got it. Got it. And how are gap years viewed by US universities? I know that some colleges, in fact, advocate for gap years, like Duke, for example. But what are your thoughts on students taking gap years? Because it's not very popular in
Yeah.
India.
So in India, it's a pretty uncommon concept. Obviously raises a lot of questions within the Indian society and parents as well. But it's very common in the US. The only thing, and we're seeing a lot of students taking gap years now. The only thing is that in your gap year, you need to show that you've done something. Either could be traveling, it could be an internship, it could be any courses for you to upskill yourself. Because what the universities are cautious because they are also wondering whether the student had applied somewhere else and it didn't work out too.
Hmm.
So that's a very common question on all admission officers' heads, and that's why they're a bit cautious. So it's always good to see that the student has been doing something during that gap year.
Got it. Moving on to the next part, which is recommendations. So
Richa,
for the Common App,
hi.
yes,
Hi.
yes.
We have a couple of questions which have come in on Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'd like to ask that if a student does not know which major that they want to be applying for, and in US universities, there's the option for intended major being undecided, does that look poorly on the student?
No, not at LMU at least, because we do give students the flexibility to be able to decide after they have been on the campus for the first year.
mhm.
At least they will have a better understanding of what they want to do in the next
Mm.
3 years.
At Syracuse, we actually, if the student is not really sure, we encourage. Then again, they have to be cautious if that's a major where you have limited seats available.
Mhm.
In those cases, it is better to at least keep that as a second choice or on your common app.
Okay.
Got it.
Great. And there's one more question by Abhiraj Chaudhary. I think he's here. How to ensure originality in your essays, seeing that how many people around the world may have similar stories to yours? Denver, would you
I'd
like
let
to?
Arushi take this one.
It's a tough question.
Sure. Oh yeah, for sure. The thing is that it does not have to be a very complicated essay. It doesn't have to be an essay which shows that you know probably advanced level English again. Which I had mentioned this before that we do not expect students at the high school level to be using a lot of jargon. And to stand out, I think I'll give you an example actually. The one time there was an essay that came in which highlighted how this student's father had been arrested. And through that entire journey of the father being arrested and then, being released from the jail, how that led to the student's personal growth. It
Mhm.
doesn't always have to be a very rosy or a happy scenario that the student tells us through an essay. It can be a challenge as well, which is something very personal. And we understand that essays are something that they do not even want their parents to read.
Mhm.
So it can be something very personal. It will always stay confidential with the reader of the application, and I know that Denver would definitely agree on this. that we do not let people know that, oh, this student submitted this essay, so we're going to look at the student on a very different light. No. The way you can portray yourself as a unique person is to just tell us something that's very personal to you, also ensuring that you can write well about that essay. If you are able to write in very crisp sentences, making us understand what happened and what led to your growth. It could be something that made you feel gratitude towards a person, towards life in general. It can be anything. It just has to be simple in terms of the English. No jargon is expected. Avoid the cliches. And tell us a story about yourself. That's it.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Richa, back to you.
Yes, got it. Thank you so much. Yes, I was just covering recommendation part, which is again very, very important. So you have two academic recommendations coming from two teachers at school, and one counselor recommendation that comes in from the counselor at school. But there's another recommendation that you can submit. This could be from an external mentor who helped you with a research paper, or maybe who was a mentor at the internship that you did, or maybe was a professor at a summer school that you completed. So do you think it adds value? It is important to have an external recommender, because a lot of times, these external recommenders, even if they would vouch for the child, they are not in a position to submit the recommendation. Maybe they have changed colleges, or maybe they have moved organizations. So how important is this external recommendation, and would you look at an application positively or favor an application positively if there is an external recommendation?
So I've come
It,
across
it,
cases where the students have had external recommenders. Even if it's a teacher or a mentor who had taught the student in the past. It
Oh,
depends
okay.
on how well they know the student. And also it can give us a broader perspective about the student rather than just their subject teachers who would probably vouch for them in terms of their activities or their capabilities in class. And it gives us a better understanding about who the student is and about the student coming on our campus.
Got it.
I
Understood.
think I think if there is any recommender that can put in an anecdote in a recommendation, that is a huge value add.
Okay. Got it. Okay, now we move on to the university specific questions. What would you say is the most popular program at LMU and Syracuse, and what do you think, the entry requirements for that popular program be?
So, for LMU, for the Indian audience, our most popular two majors are computer sciences and our entrepreneurship major in the BBA program. But we've seen that psychology is picking up. We've seen that our dance major has also garnered a lot of attraction in the last couple of years.
Oh, okay. And how would you evaluate a profile holistically for this? Just some insider tips maybe for our students.
Definitely. I think a lot of the extracurriculars, we would expect them to be somewhat related to the major that they are going for. The recommendations, if they can come in from two or three different sources, highlighting different aspects of the student's life, that would be a huge value add. And the statement, the personal essay is something that we give a lot of weightage to. So it can reflect something which is an activity related to the major, but it doesn't mandatorily have to be that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, at Syracuse, especially for Indian students, I would say econ is a very common major that students take, as is the STEM major at Syracuse. Uh, we're a research one university, so heavily into engineering, aerospace, etc. But entrepreneurship is something that's very common, and we have a lot of students coming in for entrepreneurship. Uh, so in fact, for our entrepreneurship students, even at time when they don't meet the academic requirements, one extracurricular activity that has actually got them admitted is even having a lot of failed business ventures, failed startups, because we want that kind of spirit in a student that is applying to a university.
Got it. So, for majors like entrepreneurship or dance, your engagement with the major, even outside of the classroom, is very, very important.
Yeah.
So if you're applying for dance, maybe if you have done a research paper around dance and, maybe conducted classes or have given exams that add a lot of value to your entire profile. So it sort of like balances out slightly lower academic transcripts. So okay, that's something that we're taking notes of. um any specific merit scholarships or grants that Syracuse and LMU have for Indian students that we may want to look out for? Is there any special application for it? Is there something
Mhm.
specific that you're looking for in these students, and how would you approach these
Yeah.
areas?
So every student who puts in the application is generally considered for a scholarship. Being a private university, you have the domestic students and the international students paying the same tuition, but we have a scholarship specifically for Indian students. That's part of the Next Genius Scholarship Program, where
Okay,
it
yeah.
is an external program where where they shortlist the top students with good academics, and then we go ahead and make a decision on who to select. So this year we had 6 students from India who have got a full tuition scholarship.
Lovely. Yes. Anything that LMU has to offer, Arushi?
Yeah. For
Yes.
us, again, same as Syracuse, so all students who apply are assessed for applications for the scholarship automatically. But the thing is, the earlier they apply, the more chance they have of getting a higher value scholarship.
Hmm.
And we keep on rolling out new scholarships, so it's important that the students be in touch with us or whichever university that they are aiming to go for. They should be in touch with that university representative to get more insider information on what's happening now.
Okay, got it. I would just like to point out because Denver spoke about Next Genius. We have had a lot of students at Educoach apply for the Next Genius scholarship, and they have received scholarships ranging from 25% to 75% to even 100%. So definitely apply if you have amazing grades and a super extracurricular profile. Mr. Siddhant has sent a question. I'll just address that. This is for you, Denver. Can you
Yes.
give us some briefing about the architecture program at Syracuse?
Yes. So it's a 5 years program. The Syracuse architecture program is really strong. We, in fact, ranked 22nd in the world. The academics obviously has to be strong. We look at a 3.6 GPA, but everything is going to be depending on your portfolio. Um, Even if you have a 4.0 GPA, it all goes down to your portfolio. So it's really important probably get portfolio reviews or portfolio evaluations as well. And in fact, Syracuse University offer the free portfolio evaluation, which is done virtually. And I could share the link as well. Now, one really important thing is it's a really rigorous subject. It's a really rigorous major. So, the students should be sure what they should know what they're going to be getting into.
Got it. Maybe we can get it done for Vedant,
Yeah.
because he is aiming to apply. So Vedant is a student at Educoach, and he is looking at architecture as his major. So maybe we can get a virtual evaluation done for Vedant's portfolio, and see where we can improve or add anything else as recommended by the experts. Any other questions from the audience? I think we are in the last 5 minutes of the webinar. So anything else that the
Yeah,
audience wants us to address? Yes.
I had a couple of questions come in on Instagram. So one question is, what are some creative but
Uh,
effective? Can you hear me? Yeah. What are some creative but effective
yeah.
ways?
Yeah.
What are some creative but effective ways to approach the why us? Like
Essay.
why?
Why
Yeah,
us essay? Okay.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
why
yeah.
this college?
I think apart from just pointing out the rankings, for sure, we would want to see what research the student has done of our work in their particular major.
Mhm.
So, what differentiates the university in that particular major from another university that they may be considering?
Mhm.
So that's what we want to see. We want to see that the student has definitely put in their time and mind in writing that essay and not just, copying and pasting the rankings that are, very
Mm.
general for a university overall. Because a university has overall rankings and we have our individual subject rankings. And then when you go deeper into it, you find out what work our faculty has been doing. So if there is something that intrigues the student in that particular major, any particular course in that major that they're interested in, you would want the
Mhm.
student to put that out in detail.
Uh,
Great.
And if there are
Sorry, go ahead.
any extracurricular, yeah, thanks, Andrew. And if there are any extracurriculars, because all universities do put out the clubs and societies that we have on our campus. If there is any particular club or society that intrigues them, if they have already been in touch with any of our faculty members via LinkedIn or any other portal, that also something that counts.
So you encourage students to reach out to faculty members via LinkedIn or their official
They
email
can.
IDs.
I mean, they can because everything, all the contact details are definitely up on the website for most of the universities, if not all. And internet is their space. They can do whatever they want, and we cannot stop students from reaching out to even us. Anybody who is probably at a senior level in a faculty, they can do that.
Okay, fantastic. Denver?
Yeah, can you repeat that question again?
Yeah, the question was that if a student needs to answer in a supplemental essay, why this college? So why Syracuse? So what are some things that you think the student should include in that?
So the best answer that I've got from students is the ones who have actually got in touch with alumni of us or current students on LinkedIn. You
Mhm.
know, those are the ones who have given me the best answer, and they've already they specify that as well on
Mhm.
their supplemental essay. So I would encourage students to probably look up some of the art alumni, and they've probably seen the progress that even students in their second year have been getting. So
Yeah,
that's one step I would encourage you to take.
Got it.
great.
Just
What
want to add
I
one thing. Sorry, go ahead, Arushi.
No, just one thing that I wanted to add is that as universities now we also have presence in India. So we keep on visiting different schools and colleges, and we also organize our own independent sessions wherein we invite students to meet with us. So if they have met with us somewhere and they remember the conversation that they've had with us, that shows that they have definitely remembered each and every time that they have tried to seek out anybody at the university. And if they can put that down in writing, that will also count.
Got
Fantastic.
it. No, just one last thing that I wanted to add about this particular essay question is that the best essays that I have worked around is where the student genuinely wants to attend the college. So you research about the traditions that the college has, the culture that the college has. So it's not just textbook copy paste from the website that okay fine it's ranked in the top 10 top 20, but you have so many other colleges also in that space, right? So what makes that college very very important to you is how you fit in into that college. So I think that's also something that can be highlighted. I have had students who have wrote essays, who have written essays around the mascot of the college, how they really find it relatable, or maybe the traditions that every college has once freshmen start attending college. So mentioning these quirky things in your essay will make your essay, I think, creative and help your essay stand out from all the other essays that are there. Akriti, do we have any other questions?
I think there were a few, but then we've already covered them, so I won't, about if you write about a failure, does it make you look weak? So I think Arushi very rightly pointed out that that in fact shows growth. So that was, we've already covered that. So back to you, Richa.
Okay, perfect. I think we've covered all the questions, most of them, in fact. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, Team Educoach, and we'll direct these questions to Denver and Arushi, and they can get back to us, and we'll compile an email with everything and get it shared with you. But thank you so much, Denver and Arushi. It was amazing having this session with you. I'm sure that everyone has left with some wonderful insights and food for thought. And we have a lot of students every year applying to Syracuse and LMU. So hopefully this session has also helped them understand what makes their application better. And it's coming right from the horse's mouth. So it's not me as counselors or the school telling you, it's actually the admissions rep telling you that, hey, you know what, this is what you do to get in. So hopefully that is, that is important and helps them in punching in amazing applications. Thank you, everyone. Akriti, do you want to say anything else or can we end this session?
No, thanks, Richa. Thanks for all those insightful questions and the insightful remarks also. And we'll be sharing the recording of this with all our students at Educoach. And if anybody has any other further questions for Denver or Arushi, please feel to send it to us, and we'll send you the recording as well. Thank you, Denver. Thank you, Arushi.
Yeah, thank you, Richa. Thank you, Arushi.
Thank you. Thank you, Denver.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Richa.
Richa.
Thank